So, OTAs. What's the feeling? What are some of the things you're going to be evaluating for the very first time out? Will you look at it different? Will you go back to looking at it as a defensive coordinator in some phases of it?
Yeah, I mean, with the added responsibility there, looking at it through not only a holistic lens, I guess you could say, but also specific to the defense. But also trying to stay in tune to what offensively we're trying to get done on the plays that we ran yesterday. We'll run again today, and it's fun to get out there again and coach, just as a coach, not just with the added responsibility, but just as a coach overall. Good to work together with the new staff pieces that we put together and see some of our new players out there, Dalton being one of them, and some added guys from free agency as well.
What you're saying, go ahead. Good to see that you're feeling better since the last time.
I appreciate it.
Damar Hamlin, is he participating, and there are incremental steps, but what's it like to have him on the field if he's out there?
Yeah, he has not been practicing. We're just going to continue to take it one day at a time, and support Damar every way possible.
He's still in the building working to the side, he's just not out at practice, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into the specifics where he is at what hour, but he's in the building working and taking it one day at a time.
Sean, this is part of just a slow progression to get him back and give him what he's done.
To your first answer, with the added responsibility of defensive coordinator, and these workouts are always valuable, right? But is that accentuated with whatever new wrinkles you might try and put in, and the fact that there's a competition at the middle linebacker position to kind of bring all of that together?
Adam, sorry, this kicked on. You're saying?
I guess, is there added importance to these workouts based on the fact that you might be trying to put some new wrinkles into the defense, and you've got a competition at middle linebacker in the midst
Well, I mean, there's it's every offseason. You look at your team and you're saying, hey, there's different challenges every offseason, and the challenges specific to this offseason are some of what you mentioned with the middle linebacker position and other positions that are we may not have called an incumbent player at that position or two, and but that's just the nature of every offseason and how you try and bring the team together and the challenges that you have, and I think that's also the fascinating part about the job also is how you solve some of the challenges you have, and then players as it relates to roster spots or a starting position, in this case, stepping up when given an opportunity and see what they do with it. So I think that's part of the fascinating part of the job, and really one of the joys of being a coach is watching young players step up when there's an opportunity.
How have you been, or how will you be practicing, maybe operationally, how it's going to work with you calling plays during this mini camp and OTAs period?
Yeah, so, again, just grateful for a great staff that I have around me, supporting me, and, just different assignments for me during the practice at times now, and not holistically, but from here and, from time to time through practice, I'm in a different position than maybe I was before just because I need to be there. So, again, having that staff around me, different people taking my role, and for 2-minute, for example, Coach Smiley, usually I'll spot the ball and dictate how that flows, but Coach Smiley now takes over that job, and that's been fun to watch too, and it also gives guys an opportunity to experience a different position and grow a little bit on their own.
Is it going to be an evolution, kind of a feeling out process over this time to kind of get an idea of what you and your staff is most comfortable with and how to transition with this change?
Yeah, I mean, there's, you kind of have to have two different brains, right? You got to have your head coach brain and then in this case, a defensive coordinator brain. But again, I've got tremendous help from the defensive staff and Coach Smiley as well as the offensive staff. I think, just in terms of overall, everyone understanding kind of the what I go through on a day-to-day basis now versus maybe in the past.
Hey, Sean, you signed Puna Ford after the draft. What would you like about his tape and how he fits into your defensive line?
Yeah, he's been a good addition. Powerful player that's played in the league, and had a good run in Seattle. We're grateful to have him here, and he's off to a good start and learning our defense and how we play, and he's been a good addition to this point.
Have you seen a change in the way Ken Dorsey is approaching kind of this offseason and going through things as opposed to obviously when he was really fresh at being the offensive coordinator last year?
I think overall, I appreciate the fact that he's being himself. That's why he was hired, and a lot of confidence in Ken. And having said all that, he embraces the growth mindset versus a fixed mindset of and just growing every day. He's had good communication with Josh and the offensive staff, and the components that he has on the offensive side of the ball. And so you're always tinkering, you're always tweaking things as a coach. You're always growing, always trying to find ways to improve yourself and then improve your side of the ball in this case.
Coach, how did you evaluate Shane Ray during his tryout last week?
Yeah, another good addition. Shane obviously has been well documented over the last couple of days when we signed him, and he's a highly accomplished player, in particular at the college level, and he's been bounced around a little bit at the professional level, and I think played with Vaughn as well at Denver, and so another addition that we're just waiting to see, and evaluate how he does, and really appreciate his effort. He's played with great energy to this point, and we're grateful to have him.
Sean, what did you see from Dalton during rookie minicamp as he's getting his first taste of the NFL, and then kind of just what are you looking for from him as OTAs you add the vets in now?
Yeah, just again, Heather, just taking it one day at a time. I know expectations sometimes soar with perception and all those types of things, and I think that will all quiet down, and the best thing we can do is just get Dalton into a nice routine, and he can be himself and learn the offense, and just take it one play at a time, in fairness to him. So, but just happy with what we've seen to this point. Looks like he's got a good feel for things and eager to learn.
With Dorian Williams specifically, what did you like about him, and where kind of do you see him fitting? What do you have one spot being kind of talk some about that, but where do you kind of see him fitting?
Yeah, right now he's playing the middle linebacker position. He's learning that. We'll see, where that goes, and he played a little bit of both in college. You saw him play middle. You saw him play a little bit of outside. We'll see where that goes, and that's really just his biggest, our biggest ask of him is to come in and learn the defense, and certainly he'll contribute on special teams as well, we hope.
I know that you evaluate these guys in the draft and you like certain things about them, which is why you bring them on, Coach, but is this also the time of year where you realize maybe they can do some things that maybe they didn't, and that's kind of cool and surprising, and how you can kind of adjust your thinking as a play caller?
Yeah, overall, I think it was Adam that asked the question about the middle linebackers. That's part of the evaluation. Is we threw some things at them yesterday that I asked Ken to put in there, or he wanted to put in there, and I said, yeah, gave him the green light, let's do it, because it puts pressure on the defense, and I think that's good to see how certain players respond to those challenges and those opportunities, really. And but yeah, just overall, just trying to bring everything together. And look, at the end of the day, it's shorts and T-shirts and helmets. I've been fooled before by guys that show up this time of year, and when the pads come on, they don't show up when the game's really played in a physical manner. So I think you've got to be a little bit patient right now in terms of over-evaluating and coming to a conclusion on a player too fast, because the game is the game, and height, weight, speed is height, weight, speed.
Sean, do you feel like Josh has another step in his evolution as a quarterback? What are the sorts of things that he can take to another level?
Yeah, I mean, Josh is obviously an extremely talented player, athlete. I'm sure there were some baseball scouts at the home run derby, at Micah's home run derby. I know if I was a scout and hearing that ball come off that bat and watching what I saw, I'd be pretty curious, let's call it. Overall, I just think that Josh taking his game to another level really means, being a great decision maker. We've talked about before this offseason, and it's been talked about, adjusting his style of play enough to keep himself healthy and to play smarter at times as well. And And then I just think the overall approach to the game. I've seen a different Josh this offseason. Not that it was bad before, but he's got a new sense of focus, I would say, and determination, which is good.
What were some of the things you liked when you scouted PK that made you happy about trading up the game?
I'll just talk about really Dalton as a draft pick. I'm not going to talk about the trading up, and that's not for me to talk about. But in terms of the talent, the hands, the feel, the instincts. We talked about earlier about when I mentioned about playing the game versus shorts and T-shirts. That's how the game's played. Space, situationally aware. So he's got to earn all of it, right, at this level. But those are some of the things we saw in the time that he was at Utah there.
How much did last season help shape the mold for this year's growth mindset?
Say that again.
How did last season help shape the mold for growth mindset going into this year?
For the players that were with us last year, I would say there's carryover in terms of learning from, you learn from experience, right? But other than that, it's a new season, and we're looking ahead and not behind, and that's what you do every year is you look forward to what's ahead of us and the vision we have for our football team and the opportunities that are in front of us as well as the challenges.
Diggs here for OTAs?
No.
Josh's renewed sense of focus he also did earlier this offseason. Are you willing to provide any examples you've seen that may have been materializing on the field in terms of that renewed focus?
Well, it's in fairness to Josh, it's kind of early. He didn't participate yesterday. He participated in part of it and then was not there the rest of it due to a personal commitment. So we'll see today in terms of what carries over onto the field specifically. But, I just think, again, his involvement in the offense, his feedback, his communication, it's always been there. But I think even a more involved approach in the offense and his dealings with Coach Dorsey and their communication and everything. So I think that can only be good for the situation.
Getting reacclimated to, calling plays defensively, kind of managing that side of things. Is there anything that you missed or that maybe brings back some memories about what you missed about kind of getting into the role in the first place?
Yeah, I think most head coaches would tell you, and I had a chance to be with St. John Fisher's head coach yesterday, who I have a great deal of respect for, and he's been at this job 30-some years, and this is just year 7 for me. So you miss coaching. To me, the head coach's seat is a leadership seat, and that's all good, and I love that part of it. But what you miss the most is rolling up your sleeves and getting in with the players side by side and coaching and getting in that defensive room, in this case for me, and really getting down to the nth detail. And so I missed that, and it's good. It feels good to be back doing that again.
What have you seen from Kyer doing this offseason?
Kyer's always been a pro, and which is unusual to say that because most rookies come in and they're not necessarily wired that way. His habits have always been winning level habits, and I think this offseason, though, being able to, for Kyer, watch him settle in a little bit to the NFL and the offseason routine and adjusting his habits to meet kind of the NFL calendar. And I think he's done a real nice job of that.
Is White having a full off season ahead of him now? How important do you think that's going to be for him? And do you see maybe some added energy from him having this ability to go through the full off season into the regular season?
Yeah, Trey has had a tremendous off season. Anything Trey does doesn't surprise me. I remember the player that we drafted and the person, and he's just wired the right way. And, he faced a huge challenge last year, and to watch him work through that and then take it to even another level this offseason from what I've seen, it doesn't surprise me, but I also don't take it for granted. He's a heck of a person and a heck of a player.
Well, please, too general a way, excuse me, to ask this question, but can you describe what you want to bring to, add to, or enhance in the defense this year in terms of how it's executed or whatever as you take over calling it?
Well, I think like anything else, at the position level, I think one could say that the players are a reflection of your personality, no different at the coordinator level or the head coach level, really. So you want the personality to rub off. If you're doing it the right way, I think you want your personality on things, and I think that comes over time, really. So we'll see.
Describe that personality.
I think you know me well enough.
This might be a better question. I mean, there's also a part of this question for Micah himself, but when a guy like Micah, who's a leader, who's been with you for so long, he's injured, but he stayed with you guys. He was on the sidelines. He was helping to coach. How much does that help even seeing things a little differently for him when he goes back onto the field and know what you're looking for as well?
Yeah, I mean, having those two safeties, Micah and Jordan both, man, it just gives, to have two experienced players like that, it gives me great comfort. I know as a coach, I'm sure it gives the players around them, even more importantly, great comfort, because you've got two guys back there that know what they're doing. They've seen a lot of ball, played a lot of snaps together, and have gone through and grown through a lot of things. So, I mean, the benefits of it are countless, really.